Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a video on Tank Company in which we're gonna take a look at the M6A2E1, an American tier 6 heavy tank that will soon leave the shop. Because yes, in Tank Company you will face something called limited time premiums, which are premiums that will go out of the shop as soon as they come in, and basically in 2 days you can say goodbye to the T2064 and the M6A2E1, and at this point we don't know yet if they are gonna make a comeback or no. The price of the tank is 30 euros, and for that you get a good armor profile as long as you do not try to angle your tank too much, because obviously when you take a look at it currently it seems pretty strong, but there are some flaws, and most specifically this little spot right there near the turret, which means that with this tank, if you are getting into real close combat, your armor will become useless. So always try to keep some distance between you and your opponents in order to make the best. And on top of that, never try to side scrape, because your armor on the side is totally horrific, so always stay in front of your targets. Number 2, the different statistics of the different components. When it comes to the gun, 310 alpha damage for 9.5 seconds of reload if you equip it properly, featuring also not the greatest mobility, specifically when it comes to the turn rate of the tank, but you don't care, because if you equip it properly, you will get yourself into the battlefield in no time, because yeah, you have 916 horsepower, which is way more than enough to do the job in any given situations. To equip your tank properly, which is something I couldn't do in this video because as you can see I lack some credits, but I will first go for the turbocharger because it's always nice to go to 5 more kilometers per hour, allowing you to take aggressive positions. The second thing I will go for is the ammo rack to reduce my reload time. To finish off with either the crew cooling system, because it allows you to increase the crew capacity by 2.5%, so basically every single statistics of the tank, or the ballistic computer to decrease my shooting dispersion and making sure that I shot accurately. So before entering this replay, let's summarize the tank. You have some great armor as long as you stay in front of your opponents, even if you need to make sure to stay a little bit in the back. You have a good and reliable gun and a good mobility. So let's see how it goes. There we are playing on Narvik, and my apologies if I go on the wrong side of the map, because well, it's the beginning of the game, I just started and I don't know yet where the heavies and where the other tanks are supposed to go. But do not worry, regardless of what we did and where we went, we still did a pretty good amount of damage, and that's all that matters. So you see that straight at the beginning of the game, using the turbocharger that increases by 5 kilometers per hour your maximum speed, we get in no time where we need to be. On top of that, the power to armor ratio is just great, because you are one of the most armored tanks you can encounter at this tier, and at the same time you are one of the fastest. Just take a look at the map currently. We are among the first of our team to take this side. Obviously, it's due to the fact that the vast majority of tanks I'm playing with right now are bots, because the game just released, which means that, well, you have to fill up the blanks. But yeah, not a problem. It's just an advantage for you and for us, and we are gonna take it. So what you want to do with the M6A2E1 is first, stay straight in front of your opponent. Second, try to use your turret, because you have 10 degrees of gun depression, which is just relevant enough for you to do whatever you want and be versatile on ridge lines. And at the same time, if you manage to hide the lower part of the hull, then you're perfect. Take a look at where we are currently. Facing that IS-5, I know for sure that it can't penetrate us, simply because the lower part of our hull is hiding, and it doesn't have the penetration. Most of the tanks, if they don't shoot at your weak spot, do not have enough penetration to go through this M6A2E1. And this is what gives you a crazy advantage over the opponents, and what makes it newbie friendly as long as you do not try to angle it. Because, well, when you are playing something that can't get penetrated, you will not struggle. And you're gonna see through this whole replay that as long as we are not trying to face them directly in contact, we should fear nothing. So what are we currently doing? I could really try to push forward. I could. But let's be honest, there are at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tanks in front of me. So I'm definitely thinking that it's not the brightest idea to try to roll against half of the enemy team. No, instead of that, what I'm currently trying is to finish off targets one by one, starting with the Type 59 that doesn't seem to want to circle us. In this scenario, if the type tried to circle us, I feel like we would have get wrecked. But it's not going to happen, and we are going to be able to do as much damage as we want on that poor guy, the faceless M16 that is not even playing an M16. So we just have to wait. They can't penetrate us. As I told you, you have a really strong armor. And now, something that you really want to do with the M6 in the second part of the replay when you start killing 1 or 2 people is using them as cover. Because from that position right now, it seems impossible to get penetrated. Except when you are facing something that really has a great penetration. For example, the Tiger 2 in front of us. Unfortunately, the Tiger 2 among the tier 6 tank is one of the highest penetrating one. And obviously, where your weakness is hiding is when you are attacked from multiple fronts. You can't allow yourself to angle your tank at all. So obviously, when you are facing one guy on the east and you're attacked from the west, you are gonna get penetrated. And this is where this tank needs to be carefully played, because obviously if you face only one guy and not the others, or don't try to find cover, you are gonna get destroyed. So in this kind of scenarios, you push back and you wait for your enemies to either switch to another target or just pray that you have enough time to get to cover before actually getting totally destroyed. In my case, I tried my best. I tried to track that Tiger 2, and I'm gonna try to track him again because I feel like he's gonna try some reverse side scraping, but I'm not gonna let him do that. I'm just gonna take my time to destroy him because it seems like the guy really wants to try something. Not a problem, we got him before he could do anything. But unfortunately, at close range like that, and specifically against the Tiger 2, we do not have any chances because we are gonna get penetrated quite easily, resulting in our death. But in the meantime, we did 2 kills and more than 5k damage. So definitely a good deal. Unfortunately for us, the game doesn't allow us to get the post-replay section where you see the credits you made, the details of the battle. But I remember clearly what I did, and I did 90,000 credits, which is, in my opinion, a little bit cheap considering that we did 5k damage. But I guess this is the credit coefficient that some tanks in this game have, instead of the one we have in World of Tank Blitz, in which with such a game I would have done at least 2 or even 300,000 credits. But the game is new, so we're gonna give them the benefit of the doubt on the future. But basically, if I had to summarize what you just saw, the M6A2E1 can be a great tank, but it definitely needs to get some skill in order to be played. Because with this tank, you can get the easiest battle ever if you are facing people that do not try to push and you are in a corridor and therefore they are coming from one place and one place only. But as soon as you're gonna get attacked by multiple fronts, if you do not know how to deal with both of them, trying to find the right position from which you have the possibility of bouncing from the 2 fronts, you are gonna get crushed. And in my opinion, this is what gives this tank a good, weak and OP balance, which makes it, in definitive, an average tank, but an average tank that you really want to have in your garage, just because it's gonna become rare as soon as it's not in the shop anymore. So guys, tell me in the comments if you are gonna get or not the M6A2E1. Personally, I'm having great fun with the tank and I'm making a lot of credits, as you can see by the number of credits I don't have because I spent too many of them in equipments. And hopefully I'm gonna see you soon for a new video, probably on the T2064, because the tank is gonna get out of the shop pretty soon. See ya.